Oh, son of Odin, I need to get back to Asgard!
Many apologies, Your Majesty.
Everyone's favourite Aussie Chris Hemsworth and his American co-star Tessa Thompson both play Asgardian heroes with very particular British accents. We got a dialect coach in to not only break down their performance, but tell us whose accent is better.
Hi everyone, my name is Jack Wallace, I'm a dialect coach, and today we're going to be looking at Thor and Valkyrie in the MCU.
What action would you take?
March into Jotunheim as you once did. Teach them a lesson. Break their spirits so they'll never dare try to cross our borders again.
You're thinking only as a warrior.
So yeah, they're going for this very traditional, what's called received pronunciation, sometimes called RP version of an English accent for Thor. It was used throughout kind of theatre as well back in the day to show that you don't have any specific regional ties when you do it, which I think is a good choice as he's supposed to be otherworldly. He is royalty himself.
As king of Asgard.
But you're not king!
And so there are some very kind of fancy things that he's doing on top of this as well. For example, the word Truce.
Truce.
Nowadays, some people might say truce, but he does a definite TR rather than a CH. So rather than truce, he does a definite truce, which requires a lot more kind of tongue tip specificity when you do tr versus truce.
I have a truce with Laufey, king of the Jotun.
He just broke your truce.
And then the other word that he did,
Break their spirits so they'll never dare try to cross our borders again.
I, for example, say dare with just one long vowel, but he goes for the more classical version of dare with an on the end.
So they'll never dare try to cross our borders.
Don't you dare do that. And that's, again, a slightly more old-timey or fancy version.
People wanted to commemorate him.
Indeed they should. Oh, I like the statue. A lot better looking than he was when he was alive. A little less Weasley, less greasy, maybe.
This is interesting. Character-wise, he's gone through a big development. And so there are some places where he has more what we call fluency strategies, a bit more kind of casual speech.
You know, I've been having this reoccurring dream lately. Every night I see Asgard falling to ruins.
Dream. So before he had truce with that like very specific TR, whereas instead of dream with a very specific DR, he says dream with more of a JR.
You know, I've been having this reoccurring dream lately.
Which is that slightly more casual version. So yeah, there's casual things now creeping in. And I think in this one, he's kind of just as consistent as before.
He's mine. So, if you want him, you go through me.
But we've already got him.
All right, then. I guess I go through you.
So yeah, she's not doing the same accent as Thor, which again, I think is a deliberate character choice because she's kind of rough around the edges. So going for that very classical received pronunciation wouldn't necessarily make sense. The one that I think they're going for is what is deemed nowadays estuary, which is like the received pronunciation mixed with a bit of London regionalism kind of put together. Her very first word that we heard here was wait.
Wait.
The T is dropped of wait. And so you'll find a lot more fluency strategies with hers. And then her diphthongs, her I's and her O's, they have more regionalisms in them. There's a bit more rounding in the I versus an I.
And I'm a scrap and not a Valkyrie. And no one escapes this place. So you're gonna die anyway.
Yeah, right at the end where she's like, you're gonna die anyway. She's got that very specific I sound happening.
So you're gonna die anyway.
That's her accent apart from his. There is one word of his that is a pet peeve of mine that I would not necessarily think he would pronounce that way. Is warrior.
Warriors.
He says it more of warrior, like the word war at the start of it, rather than war. You can definitely hear now that they're in this scene together that they're going for two different things, and it shows in their characters why they might have chosen to go for estuary versus received pronunciation.
Here's the deal. I'll listen to you till this is empty.
Here, she said, all right, here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
This is another one of these kind of classic regional substitutions of a final L instead of here's the deal, which Thor would probably say. So here's the deal, which is more of like a W rather than an L at the end. And another, all right, from her.
All right.
That big distinction between Thor and Valkyrie through their accents.
Her power comes from Asgard, same as yours. When it grew beyond Odin's control, she massacred everyone in the palace and tried to seize the throne.
O's before N's. She says the word only a couple times, she says throne a couple times, and she says alone.
Let's be left alone.
And out of all of those, alone, she has that full O thing, but then only and throne are a little bit more towards kind of probably what her own accent is.
When I believed in the throne.
But then Thor says right after her,
Burn down the throne.
the throne. And so you kind of hear that differentiation between them. I think that it would have made more sense if she'd had all three the same as each other, rather than having one that was different and then the other two the same. Definitely hear the difference between their accents. Both Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson, Thor and Valkyrie, do a great job throughout the MCU, and it's great to watch them develop with their accents as their characters change as well. Thor starting off in this very proper received pronunciation, very specific, not going outside of the lines, and then as his character kind of mellows out, his speech relaxes a little bit and becomes a little bit more casual, whereas we start off with Valkyrie. Tessa Thompson has the kind of exact opposite path with hers. She starts off a lot more casual with a lot more regionalisms and goes from this kind of lost character who doesn't really have it all together towards this final leader at the very end.
Coming next week, make sure to check out our Dialect Coach reacting to Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Or you can watch a video right now all about Obi-Wan Kenobi's accent.